Just some guy talking here, and I want to start today by addressing the elephant in the room, which is that I am wearing a man bun, or a man nugget, maybe a man crouton. I am aware that it's there though, so I wanted to get out in front of it before I got roasted in the comments. Although I would prefer that you roast me in the comments about my man bun than leave no comments at all. And obviously, please like, subscribe, and share my content with anybody that you feel would find it helpful or interesting if you found it helpful and interesting. Today's topic, though, is cognitive dissonance. Now, if you're not familiar with the term, cognitive dissonance refers to the mental discomfort that we experience when holding contradictory values, beliefs, attitudes. And it's generally typified by an inconsistency between what we believe and what we do or say. So you can see why that topic would be interesting to me if you've watched some of my other videos. I do think that that's generally incredibly applicable to our state today, our conversations, the environment that we exist in today. I think cognitive dissonance abounds always, but today it's pretty much right in your face. If you're more interested in cognitive dissonance, you can look it up on the internet. There's plenty of information out there. There's a great book that I read recently called "Mistakes Were Made, but Not by Me," by a woman named Carol Tavris. Great book. If you're interested in more information on that, I do want to read just a brief kind of description of what typifies or how what cognitive dissonance does for us from verywellmind.com. So this inconsistency between what people believe and how they behave motivates people to engage in actions that will help minimize feelings of discomfort. People attempt to relieve this tension in different ways, such as by rejecting, explaining away, or avoiding new information. So, again, it doesn't take a big leap to see why that is something that is of interest to me based off of some of my other videos. But I want to kind of spend some time moving away from that intellectual idea and maybe put it in some more um, day-to-day examples, so that those of you who don't want to spend a lot of time reading through papers and listening to books, etc., can just have a general sense of what it is. So um, if you are like me, you probably don't like to hear your recorded voice, right? And the reason why most of us don't like hearing recordings of our voice is because our voice doesn't sound anything like what we think it sounds like. And the reason for that is because when we're talking, there are all kinds of sound vibrations in our cranial cavity that um, add nuances and depth to our voice that other people don't hear, don't experience when they're hearing us. And obviously, when we're recorded, that recording reflects what people hear versus what we hear when we're talking. So that creates a kind of dissonance in our minds, right? Because it really messes with the idea of like, oh, do I really sound like that? And we don't like that because we have an idea of what we sound like, and that recording um, reflects something different, and that creates discomfort. And so we um, try to explain that away in a bunch of different ways. We deal with that in different ways. A lot of us just don't want to listen to ourselves, or we'll say, I hate my voice, but like, regardless, maybe a better example is Snapchat. So, and I'm using Snapchat in particular because Snapchat uses what we would call a mirror image camera, right? So when you take a selfie with your Snapchat, what you see is an image that looks like what you see in the mirror, which is the image of ourselves that we are most familiar with and therefore most comfortable with. When we take a picture with our regular front facing camera and we take that picture and then look at it afterwards, there's that sense that we get. We're like, what the heck? That doesn't look good. Like that picture looked really good when I was framing it up, but now it doesn't look great. Or when somebody takes a picture of us, we generally will not like that picture as much because it is not a mirror image of us. It is the way that other people see us. And we are more used to seeing ourselves in the mirror. So when we see pictures that reflect the way that other people see us, it causes dissonance. It causes that discomfort in our brain. We're like, I don't look like that. Like, why can't I get a good picture of myself? And that's, maybe that's oversimplifying it a little bit, but I do think that it's a really good way to look at it, because when we talk about communication, when we talk about the ways that we feel when somebody challenges us, when somebody says to you, you always do this, or you're the type of person who does that, and that conflicts with the image, the idea of us that we have that same experience. We're like, I don't look like that. I'm not that person. Moreover, when you go into a conversation and you're thinking, I'm trying to help this person, and that person responds by saying, look, you're attacking me. We're like, no, I'm not. Like, I'm helping you. But that's not what it looks like to them. That's not what it feels like to them. And so there's this dissonance, right, that occurs because there is the sense of what we look like, what we sound like, what we're trying to do, that idea that we have of all of those things, that is now in conflict with the reflection, or the what other people are experiencing, what other people see, what other people hear. And so then we try to justify it. We try to say, well, you're reacting that way because of X, Y, and Z, because you're not being reasonable, because you're not actually listening to what I'm saying, because we'll come up with all these different reasons why that person is reacting to what we're saying, that really kind of does that allows us to maintain that perception of what our goal was. And again, I'm giving us the benefit of the doubt that usually our goal is to, you know, engage people in conversations in a healthy way, right? We're not necessarily trying to hurt people, but they're experiencing it that way. Another example that I think is particularly relevant to me is, I have this huge backyard, and every year there are trees everywhere, and every year there's a period of time during the year when baby birds fall out of the nest. And I love animals, so I'm always trying to like save them, right? And so I go to try to grab these baby birds with the intent of saving them, putting them back in the nest if I can get to it, putting them in a safe place so that my dogs don't get to them. Um, and the baby bird experiences me as a threat, right? So that's a good example, because that's again how people are. So I'm again approaching these baby birds, trying to grab them, because I want to help them. The baby bird is experiencing me as this huge, strange thing that is trying to attack it. And no matter how much I try to explain to that bird, hey, look, no, little bird, like, I'm trying to help you, that bird is still going to experience me as a threat. So again, going back to that Snapchat, that picture, I have an image of myself as what I am trying, what I look like. I'm the savior. I'm actually trying to help this bird. That's the picture of me that I would see if I'm, just reflecting my own perspective. But the baby bird is looking at me from the perspective of the person who sees a front-facing or a regular camera shot, where they see me as what I really am to them, which is actually a threat, right? So I don't know if that's helpful, but I do think that there are a lot of ways that comes into play. I mean, even going back to the conversation about my man bun, right? So I have an idea of who I am, what I am, like how I look, what my sense of style is. And so then you also have an idea of what a lot of people think about man buns. And so the urge is to be like, well, I don't usually wear my hair like this. It's just like sometimes, like today, I mean, today is different because, you know, I felt a little lazy, or, I was having a bad hair day, or, I was in a rush, or, but really, like, I'm not a man bun kind of guy, like you should know, I'm not a man bun guy. And that's, again, those are all just innocuous, let's say, examples of cognitive dissonance, but that's a good way to look at your interactions with other people. Like, are you expecting that person to see you the way that you see yourself? And are you ignoring the fact that they are going to see you from a different perspective because they're not you? They do not have the same self image of you that you have of yourself. And so they're going to present their perception of you. Those two things are going to have conflict with each other. And then they'll lead to a bunch of different things like I pointed out before, rejecting, explaining away, avoiding new information. And I'll just leave it at this point. When you look at the ways that people react when you present them with facts or evidence that refute their ideologies, their beliefs, that's what you're doing. You are giving them a picture of themselves that may be accurate, a picture of their beliefs that may be more accurate than the picture they have of their own beliefs, but is that nonetheless jarring and uncomfortable to them. And that creates cognitive dissonance in their mind, that creates a mental discomfort in their mind that they will then react to by rejecting, explaining away, or avoiding new information. Now, I'm not going to get into how you overcome that, partly because sometimes I feel like I have no freaking idea, but I do just want to leave that out there as another example of things that we should be cognizant of as we engage people of differing ideologies and as they engage us. So I'll leave it at that. This is just some guy talking. Thank you so much. Again, like, subscribe, and share, and I will talk to you next time.